Okay, in this video, we're going to look at adding and subtracting and multiplying mixed numbers because it's something really easy to make a mistake in a calculator. I'm going to show you some of the common mistakes I see, and that way you're aware of it for the students. And let's take a look at what we have. So first of all, let's say that I wanted to go ahead and have my mixed number. Let's say I had 2 and a quarter. So 2 and a quarter means 2 and 1 over 4. So this is the way I would put it in. And let's say that let's start out with multiplying. Let's say they wanted to multiply this by 5. So we know just right looking at it, if I multiply this by 5, I'm going to have 5 times 2, so it should be 10, right? And then whatever 5 and a quarter is. So there should be some value greater than 10. Now with the students, a lot of them won't think about this, and what they'll do is they'll put 2 and a quarter correctly, just like I showed you in the earlier video on how to put a mixed number into the calculator. But then what they'll do is they'll hit the multiplication sign and they'll put a 5, which looking at it doesn't look bad. However, the problem is, right, it's going to use PEMDAS and it's going to do this multiplication before it does this addition. When that happens, what's really happening is 5 is being multiplied to 1/4 and then you're adding 2 to it. So it's not going to come out to some number greater than 10. It's going to be far less than 10. And I'm going to hit enter just to show you an example. So notice this actually gave me 13 over 4. Now if I convert that to a decimal, it's 3.25. Now if they were to follow my rule, which I always tell them, if you're going to add, subtract, multiply, or divide a mixed number, I always tell them to put the mixed number inside of parentheses. And what I realize is there's some circumstances where you don't need to put it inside parentheses, but what happens is if they don't do it consistently, they're going to forget. And so I just tell them every time you deal with a mixed number, put it in parentheses. So I have 2 and 1/4, it's in parentheses, and now I'm going to multiply this by 5. I am going to put a decimal in this one so I don't have to convert it. So put a decimal after the denominator. And notice this actually comes out to the correct answer, which is 11.25. Now keep in mind as they're working with this, as they're doing it when they're dealing with mixed numbers, let's say we had a negative 2 and a quarter. So even though it's and, we would go ahead and put a minus sign. Since our leading number, our first number, is negative, we have to subtract that value. Otherwise, if we had a positive 2, if we had a negative 2 and we put plus 1/4, we're going to go ahead and there's going to be some subtraction going on. So whenever we have a negative value for our mixed number, that first number on there, we need to make sure that our fraction also is negative or has a minus sign in front of it. So that way everything stays negative. So if I were to do negative 2 minus 1/4, close parenthesis, and then I were to multiply that times 5, right? Notice I would still end up with 11.25, but now it's going to be negative.